August 15, 2025. A military base in Alaska. Two of the world's most powerful leaders meet face-to-face for the first time in years. What happened behind closed doors could change the course of the Ukraine war forever. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Thinking Global. In the last 24 hours, we've witnessed something unprecedented. President Trump and Vladimir Putin met for nearly 3 hours at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Alaska. And the details that have emerged paint a very different picture from what you're hearing elsewhere. Stick around because we're breaking down the timeline, the key players, and what this really means for Ukraine. Let's start with the context. This wasn't just any meeting. This was the first time Putin had been invited to a Western country since he ordered the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, and Trump chose Alaska, neutral ground, away from the political theater of Washington, D.C. The Russian delegation was massive. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Defense Minister Andriy Belousov, Finance Minister Anton Silyanov, and key economic advisors. Trump brought his top team too: Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and his special envoy Steve Witkoff. But here's the kicker. While everyone expected talks about a ceasefire, something very different happened. According to multiple sources, the nearly 3-hour meeting was described as constructive and useful by Putin himself. But Trump's post-meeting statements reveal the real story. In a Truth Social post the next day, Trump dropped a bombshell. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war and not a mere ceasefire agreement. Think about this. Ukraine and EU leaders have been pushing for months for a temporary ceasefire. But Trump and Putin apparently agreed that wouldn't work. Why? Because, as Russian sources pointed out, ceasefire would just allow Kiev to rearm with Western weapons while Russian troops hold their current advantages. Putin was clear about Russia's position. Any lasting settlement must address root causes, include Russia's security concerns, and restore what he called a fair balance of security in Europe. But here's where it gets really interesting: the symbolism. The summit included commemorative events honoring the American-Russian alliance. In World War II, this wasn't just nostalgia, it was a message. We've cooperated before across ideological divides, but there was a deeper signal here. By referencing World War II cooperation, Putin was also subtly reminding everyone that China was part of that alliance too. Translation: don't expect Russia to abandon its partnership with Beijing for any reverse Kissinger strategy. Within hours of the summit, Trump was on the phone with Zelensky, EU leaders, and NATO's Secretary General. The message was consistent. We're moving toward peace talks, not just ceasefire negotiations. Trump confirmed that Zelensky would visit Washington on Monday, and if things go well, another meeting with Putin would be scheduled. But here's what's crucial. Putin issued a warning to Brussels and Kiev. Don't try to sabotage these talks. And Trump didn't contradict him. In fact, Trump later told Zelensky to make a deal with Russia. So what does this all mean? Several things. First, Trump is clearly prioritizing direct U.S.-Russia negotiations over multilateral approaches involving NATO and the EU. This is classic. Trump bilateral deals over complicated alliances. Second, the shift from ceasefire to peace agreement is massive. It suggests both sides understand that any sustainable solution needs to address fundamental security concerns, not just pause the fighting. Third, Ukraine's position may be weakening. Trump's message to Zelensky to make a deal suggests limited patience for maximalist Ukrainian positions. But here's the biggest takeaway. Both leaders emphasize that negotiations can continue while fighting continues. This isn't a freeze, it's a parallel track. Of course, not everyone's happy. European leaders and mainstream media are already calling Trump gullible and warning he's being duped by Putin. But here's the thing. Trump seems to be ignoring these voices entirely. As one analysis pointed out, the biggest challenge isn't reaching an agreement, it's making it stick. Russia has been consistent in its positions, but the West, especially Europe, has been fractious and volatile. The real test will be whether Washington can maintain this course regardless of what European clients and the Ukrainian regime want. Look, whether you love or hate these developments, one thing is clear. We're witnessing a potential turning point in the Ukraine conflict. The Alaska summit may not have produced a breakthrough, but it established a framework that prioritizes permanent peace over temporary ceasefires. The next few weeks will be crucial. Zelensky meets with Trump on Monday, and depending on how that goes, we could see another Trump-Putin summit soon. What do you think? Is Trump right to prioritize peace negotiations over ceasefire talks? Or is this giving Putin exactly what he wants? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video and subscribe the channel to keep thinking the world how it really is.